warm welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been a long wait for people of Mumbai and especially the family of Sridevi, but finally her funeral procession is going to begin from here. It is here at the Celebration Sports Club where for the last 4 hours it has been a steady queue of people who have been in and out. Where you are watching right now is the VIP entrance where most of the film stars came in the morning. Right from the Bachchan family, you had the ladies of the Bachchan family, to people like Siddharth, and practically all film stars. Of course, the Kapoor family, you had Anil Kapoor, his daughters, all of them were inside, and even as we speak, the entire crowd of well-wishers, relatives has been asked to move out, and there are preparations, the final preparations are underway to take out Sridevi on her final journey. The eventual funeral is going to be in Vilepale, and in just about half an hour from now, the movement of that will begin. We are being told that Sridevi is being accorded state honours, which means there is a police band that will also be playing. The Chief Minister also slated to visit. The who's who of cinema naturally came in, given the deep roots that this entire family, remember the goodwill that she shared wasn't just hers alone. It's her husband, her entire family, the extended family, the Kapoors, all really rallying together. But what this has also done, given that it is such a huge family and all the famous people, the kind of crowd that has turned up is also bordering on the crazy, which is why if you see the police is having a really tough time. What you don't see is that straining at the seams of these barricades is a crowd easily of about 2,000 to 3,000 people who have all assembled here. I don't know if you can really hear this, but there are loudspeaker announcements also being made now, basically telling all visitors, especially those who have just come here out of curiosity, please leave. Do not crowd around. In a while, we will have the final journey beginning, and they do not want any crowd situation taking place. So the police, in the last couple of hours, has had a situation on its hand. My colleague Mayuresh, in fact, gives you a report from Vilepale about the preparations from the funeral that have taken place since morning.
Right now, I'm standing outside of Vilepale crematorium where Sridevi's mortal remains will be taken over here from the Happiness Sports Club, where they are right now kept for the Antim Darshan, for the fans or for the Bollywood fraternities, for the VVIPs, for the celebrities. You can see the huge presence of Mumbai police here. They are doing this. They are here. They have already monitored what exactly will be happening inside. The preparations they have already monitored. But huge presence of Mumbai police can be seen over here. Along with the Mumbai police, there are a few agency guys. The private security guards are also here, which the family has hired, and also the few volunteers who are helping police as well as these private guards to manage the crowd. You can see this is one of the main and congested road of Mumbai, one of the busiest road we can say that of Mumbai, which connects the Vilepale, Andheri and Bandra. So when the Sridevi's mortal remains will come here, or her family will get the mortal remains here, that time approximately at 4:35 p.m. we are expecting. So that time the crowd is a lot of crowd is expected along with the normal traffic. So even yesterday also we saw when her family members were taken her body from the airport, the huge fan following. We saw that the fans were following them from airport on the bike, on their cars, till her house at Green Acres. So today also we are expecting that, and that's why Mumbai police had also anticipated the same thing. So they have done a security in a proper shape. And you can see that the security personnel's presence over here, the lady constables are also here. So we are expecting somewhere around 4:35 p.m. That her mortal remains her family will bring her mortal remains over here, and after that the cremation process will take place. With camera person Vaibhav, Mayuresh Kadpate for India Today.
हम सबकी सांत्वनाएं उनके साथ हैं, और जिस तरह से जाना हुआ हम सबके लिए बस शोक की बात थी, और शौक थे हम सब अच्छी तरह से जानते हैं। मृत्यु तो बहुत दुखद होती है, और जिस तरह से जाना हुआ सडनली, असामयिक मृत्यु उसको बोलते हैं, बहुत कम उम्र में जाना, उसका बहुत दुख है। ईश्वर उनके परिवार को इस दुख को सहने की शक्ति दे, यही हमारी प्रार्थना।
Okay, joining us now is author and screenwriter Adwaita Kala, and before I go across to Adwaita, here I will let you take a look at all the family members who are now exiting the Celebration Sports Club, and that is because in just about 20 minutes from now we are expecting that a bus which has been decorated, it has been prepared for the final journey of Sridevi, will also be exiting the front gates. For that purpose, the roads are also being cleared. Adwaita, you have worked and you have interacted with several film actors, film stars. What do you think is the defining characteristic or the differentiator between a number of actors that we have in our film industry? Not just Hindi, but also all the other languages that Sridevi worked in, and the superstar, the first female superstar that she has been called now.
Well, first of all, my condolences to the family, because this must be just exceedingly traumatic for them, you know, to go in a week from a wedding, which is such a joyous occasion, to a funeral, must be very, very difficult, and my heart goes out to them. Coming back to actually films. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, Adwaita, go on, I can.
Hello? Can you hear me, Padmaja? Okay, okay. Coming to films, you know, I think in our industry, you know, we, in the Indian film industry in general, we have this concept of stars vis-a-vis actors, and each occupy their own world. So if you're a star, doesn't necessarily mean you are very good at the craft of acting, and this is a reality. And yet, you know, you have someone like Sridevi, really, who is different and is rightly called the first female superstar of Indian cinema, for one reason and one reason alone, primarily, was the fact that she was such a great actor as well. Apart from bringing the glamour and the larger-than-life persona that film demands, I think it was the fact that she was such a versatile actress, that she had great comic timing, that she was unafraid of even things like physical comedy, and explored all aspects of her craft. And you have to remember, she started from the age of 4 in South Indian cinema, in Tamil cinema, and then transitioned to so-called mainstream cinema, which is the Hindi film industry, and scored and triumphed in every one of these industries, making her a truly pan-Indian superstar, like someone that we have not seen since, and possibly not even before her. In that sense, she was very, very unique, because she managed to be a superstar in multiple industries across the South, and of course in the Hindi film industry as well. And now when I hear people recall her work, and especially you know, writers, directors from the South speak of her, I realize that, you know, we're so familiar with her because of her contribution to Hindi cinema, but there's a whole chunk of work. I mean, she did 300 odd films that we have no idea about. So there's a lot of films of her that we are yet to discover.
Adwaita, stay with me. Before I bring in director Sanjay Chahal as well, I want to cut across to Mayuresh. How long before the final journey starts, Mayuresh? A, and B, is the police confident they're going to be able to handle the crowds which have gathered now? Okay, while I try and fix that line with Mayuresh, you have to understand the sheer number of people who have gathered here means that it is impossible for any network to work here. Sanjay Chahal, what do you think is the single biggest contribution of Sridevi to our film industry? Just the legacy that we keep from each star as we unfortunately lose them.
Oh my God. I think she's the only star, female star, who did comedy effortlessly. She was never bothered about her look, about her facial expressions, and normally the girls, female stars, are very, very conscious about their looks and their appearances when they perform. But Sridevi used to forget who she is, and she used to do fantastic comedy, fantastic timing, and with little expression she can make people laugh. I think this is, I will say, it's a Chaplin quality in Sridevi that is the best contribution, and I sincerely feel no actor understands acting of close-up on the screen more than Sridevi. She had a tremendous sense of performance in close-up, her eyes, her lips. She had a command over camera. Once the director told me that she was performing, and suddenly she said, "Okay, cut. There is one light behind is off." So she was so gifted. She had a control over craft that a light which was behind her, she could gauge it's not working. So I think she knew the camera, she loved the camera, and camera loved her.
Oh, that it absolutely did. And Adwaita, that is something I want to come back to you on, because everyone talks about, you know, her in this ethereal white dress or those lovely chiffon saris and Yash Raj productions. But Sanjay Chahal is right. We would do the biggest disservice to her legacy if we didn't recall her as chaplain, or for that matter, her in Chalbaz. It was superlative, the kind of comedy that she did, head and shoulders above the so-called comedians of her time, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely. And as a woman in that time, remember, you know, women still in many cultures, and certainly to a large extent in our culture, are not considered feminine if they're funny, or if they're loud, so-called loud in a certain way. And here you had someone who was in an industry that was dominated by the glamorous perception of women, like women actresses had to be glamorous and little more than that. And very little more than that. And she went ahead and did physical comedy. She decided that she was going to have fun, play the oddball, and did it effortlessly. And this is because she had so much confidence in her craft. And she was able to execute this without feeling that censure. And I think, you know, in the time that she did it was extremely, extremely important, because that's what opened the door to a lot of other opportunities for female actors, and for roles to be written for female actors that really pushed the envelope and did not really present them in that stereotypical way. Then the subjects that she chose, one of my favorite films of hers is Lamhe, which had a very, very difficult subject, a love story to navigate between a mother and a daughter, separated of course by many years, falling in love with the same man, or rather being coveted by the man in one case, with the mother. And, you know, very, very complicated subject. And to think that an actor in her prime would kind of, you know, dabble with a subject like that, I think is tremendous, because even today, you know, actors are so conscious of their image and what are the roles that they choose. And here you had her kind of making a conscious decision to just go with it.
Absolutely, Adwaita, and just stay with me for a second, because imagine here is someone who plays extremely desirable woman and plays a comic role within a span of a few years, and manages to carry off both of them and is equally good in both as well. Who would have thought that would be possible? Stay with me both, because I want to try and bring in Mayuresh again. Yes, Mayuresh, what's the latest that you can tell us? All right, just a second, Mayuresh. I think we are going to constantly have trouble, and if Mahesh can just show you around, I want him to just turn around and show behind us where there is a full-blown melee happening even as we speak. The police has now come in, and it's very, very difficult. Despite the barricades and despite all the different obstructions that have been put in. Remember, this is happening when this entire road, the exit points and the access points have been restricted for public use. Despite that, this is what is happening. They're standing at least a few hundred meters away, yet the phones are out, the cameras are clicking. I don't even know what they are capturing. It's turning into a mini nightmare for the police, despite the public announcements and the periodic lathi charge. the people simply refuse to go away. There are bystanders, and what is particularly worrying is that I see a lot of young children and also women standing over here. So you've got more reinforcements also being brought in by the police. I certainly hope that the next few hours are going to be more peaceful, and these people need to be kept away. Again and again, the police is making announcements. If you don't need to be here, please move away. The darshan is now over. The tributes have been paid. That process is over. You can now not see anything. So please clear out the area. Despite that, it seems that some people simply do not want to leave the place. More troublemakers, unfortunately, than people who actually have anything at all to do with Sridevi. Okay, the guests continue to be with us, and in about 15 minutes is what we are learning is that the procession will come out of here. But it might just be delayed for a little bit till the time the police is sure that the crowd is under control. I don't know if you can see it, but if we just go in a little bit, of course there is an ambulance which will be going to Pawan Hans, which is the crematorium, but in addition to that, there is also an elaborately decorated vehicle which has been kept on the ready. There is a plan that there will be an elaborate procession which will go the couple of kilometers from here to the funeral ground, to the crematorium, and that is when some people who haven't been able to go in since morning will get a last look at Sridevi as well. Adwaita, going back to you, what do you think is the most challenging character that she has played? You know, the reason why I keep going back to her films is because this entire controversy that has swirled around her death a couple of days, that's not the kind of memory you want to have left behind about Sridevi. You want to remember her for her films and for the kind of characters that she's given us. What, according to you, was the best?
You know, Padmaja, you're so right, because she often said that let my work speak for me. You know, she wasn't one to give too many interviews. She was, you know, sort of reticent in on that score. And really her work, even today when we discuss her work, it's such a tragic moment. But you can't help smile a little when you recall her work in films like Chalbaz and Mr. India that we grew up watching. You can't help but smile a little and feel affection for her. And I think that is really her legacy in a very powerful way. And she almost knew it, because she said it so many times, that let my work speak for me. And today really it does. It does speak for her, because that's really what binds us to her in such a way, in this very personal way. Coming to her film work, I think for me English was very interesting, because remember, she was out of the industry for 15 years. She was in the industry at a time when a very different kind of cinema was being made. So it wasn't just a matter of years or a distance in terms of that, but also in terms of the films that were being made. And then she slid back, literally slid back into acting, and just was so natural, so effortless, and so organic as this housewife who's stumbling and trying to learn and trying a new language and trying to fit in. I mean, it was so touching, her portrayal of that. Very, very different from the 80s and even the 90s, where, you know, there used to be the acting of that time in general was about a little bit of an overacting. And suddenly, you know, she's back after 15 years, and what a triumph. I mean, she just slid back into it. And I think she was known to be a great professional, very dedicated, very professional. She literally went to the school and college of cinema and film sets. And when she came back, it was refreshing for her. I recall reading somewhere that, you know, there were bound scripts now and dialogues were not being written on sets. And being the consummate professional that she was, I think she would have really enjoyed this style of working, and there was a lot more cinema that we could have expected from her, because at this point she was holding back on signing films, waiting for her daughter's film to release, but she was definitely interested in doing more movies. There were roles being written for her, because
I
that's
think
just
all
the kind
of our
actor she was.
collective regret that we could have got so much more cinema out of her. Look at her comeback, for example, English Winglish. What a way to come back. English Winglish and then Mom. But how did someone who was only 4 years old manage the pressures of acting, be completely at ease in it, star opposite some of the biggest names, still make a success for herself, and then make a transition into being a full-fledged actress as an adult. Very few have actually managed to do that. This is how Sridevi was able to achieve what was almost impossible. Okay, this is how things stand right now. This is the gate, and this entire area has been cordoned off. They've got some organizers here as well. कितने बजे के आसपास पूरी जो अंतिम यात्रा है?
मेरे ख्याल से इनको पवन अंश 4 बजे पहुंचना है। उससे पहले अभी पूजा हो रही है और जितने भी नाते रिश्तेदार हैं, घर वाले हैं, वो सब लोग वहाँ पर हैं और पब्लिक का कोई आदमी इनके साथ नहीं है। हाँ, न फिल्म लाइन का कोई आदमी साथ है, केवल जो घर वाले हैं वो ही उनके साथ हैं।
तो पूरा पुलिस बैंड भी अंदर बुलाया गया है?
नहीं, वहाँ कोई और है ही नहीं, केवल पूजा हो रही है और पूजा होने के बाद में फिर उनकी शव यात्रा होगी जो पवन अंश जाके खत्म हो जाएगी। वहाँ सभी लोगों को दर्शन मिलेंगे, इसलिए मैं सबसे इसीलिए प्रार्थना कर रहा हूँ कि सब लोग पवन अंश पहुंचे, वहाँ दर्शन होंगे उनके।
Okay, and this basically is for the benefit of all of these people, the crowd that I was talking about, becoming difficult to handle, and there are these two little measly barricades which are holding them back so far, and crowd management clearly one of the weak links on this entire day, but a little bit of sanity has returned right now. Heading into a very quick break, but as the final journey of Sridevi is about to begin in just a while from now, we will come back to you in a bit. News and updates continue on India Today.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.